I was born in 1969, and my parents were moving from DC, where I am now. They met after college, married here, tried to move to New Jersey, and they wouldn't let my family move into neighborhoods with the best public schools, which would happen to be white neighborhoods. And so my parents had this great organization, Black people and white people, that met together in a living room, created community of activism. They would send white couples out to follow my parents to see if they were turned away from a house. They were told it was sold, lied to, it was pulled off the market. The white couple would find out it was still for sale. And in the house I grew up in, they were told it was sold. The white couple found out it was still for sale. And they put a bid on the house. The bid was accepted. On the day of the closing, the white couple didn't show up. My father did, and a young lawyer named Marty Freedman. They confronted the real estate agent, who didn't give up. He gets up and punches my father's lawyer in the face and sticks a Doberman pinscher on my dad. So legal letters sent back and forth, but we ended up moving into this amazing town. Actually ended up being a very nurturing town for my childhood. But my dad used to call us the 4 raisins in a tub of sweet vanilla ice cream. We were very different. Now, my parents, African-American parents, wanted to make sure that their son, 2 sons, raising Black boys, you need to make sure that they understand their culture and their heritage, their beauty, because they're going to be around people and media that has a different beauty myth. They did a lot. But even with my parents' influence, I still remember what it meant to me to read Malcolm X's autobiography. The powerful influence it had on me to read from James Baldwin to Maya Angelou. I mean, these authors were like lifelines to me that helped me not only affirm who I am, my culture, my identity, our collective history, but it also celebrated it in a way that made me feel proud. And I'm telling you, as great as my school system was, we were not learning about and understanding the nuances, the wretchedness, the darkness of a lot of the corners of American history. And so when I find out that one of my favorite books, James Baldwin's Fire Next Time, was banned, it is taking books that have been on shelves since I was in high school, that suddenly now people don't want them there because what? Because of what? Because they don't want to confront the ugliness and the truth of our history that actually makes us a better country. America is great because of what we overcame, not a Disney-fied version of our nation that sanitizes, homogenizes, and that whitewashes our history. So many of our great heroes, like those Black folks and white folks that helped my parents get into a home, getting rid of stories like that diminishes us. But it's even worse. What I said in the hearing today was that I remember when my class, my AP English class, read The Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. Because my mom would say, I would have bought these books for you. They were banned, maybe they're taking them out of the school, but we would have bought the books for you. But what was more important for my Black mother was that my peers had access to these books, because they're just as important for white Americans, Asian Americans, Latino Americans as they are for Black Americans. And then the last part I said in my time this morning, which I think is so important, is then I go to college. And around my freshman year, sophomore year, I started working on a suicide crisis hotline. Now, I'm a kid that grew up in the 80s. And you want to talk about like oppressive environments for LGBTQ communities? I was stunned that I went back to my high school, when I was in my 20s and they had a P flag. I was like, oh my God, we've got a P flag here. But I'm on the phone counseling people on a suicide crisis hotline on Stanford's campus, and I was shaken by how many LGBTQ kids who were calling, coming out, who felt suicidal, who would tell stories of the viciousness that they faced, discrimination that they faced, but every once in a while mention the power of reading a book or finding something that showed them they weren't alone, that they were a part of a great history in our country, from Stonewall to Harvey Milk in San Francisco. And so I just have to say right now, we cannot be a nation at war with ourselves. The most powerful forces in a democracy, a lot of people mistake their activism. They think their activism is about who they hate as opposed to their activism being about what they build. We started this by saying building community. You cannot create a vibrant democracy without a more beloved community, without more empathy, without more understanding, without more truth-telling. That's how you get to a higher and a better love in America. And this forces now that are trying to take all of this away from us. It is such a destructive force in democracy, and create these environments around our school boards in America where the hatred and the viciousness and the conflict is tearing our communities apart over what? Over attempts to whitewash our history in ways that are so destructive. If we as a people, as a country, are to ever not only just know we stand on great foundation, but also do the hard work of making this a more perfect union.